Stepping from our ordinary world into the fantastical, Immersive XP explores the weird and wonderful imaginations behind a diverse range of themed experiences. From virtual reality to escape rooms to live-action roleplay, nothing is off the table. We'll take a deep dive into what makes these adventures worth attending and which ones to avoid. Join me on a journey to explore the extraordinary and meet the people who make dreams a reality. Hello. I'm Taylor Ford, your non-binary host based in Southern California, seamstress by trade, silly little guy by trauma. Favorite grape? Strawberry chocolate banana. I have a little bit of a short story to start off this episode, and this is the story of our dear friend, my nightmare child and son, Chatterbox. I went to the dentist for a night guard because I grind my teeth at night and clench my jaw really bad. So I went to the dentist. They told me I could spend way too much money to get a night guard. And when I went to go pick it up, they said, "Hey, would you like the mold of your teeth?" And how could I say no to that? So I took the mold home, and later that night I went to a party, and my friends and I were trying to decide what the worst thing that I could possibly build with this mold of my teeth, and eventually came to the conclusion that a sock puppet would be the best idea. And I took it to levels that people did not expect. It is a very scary little creature with beady red eyes, big chompy, gross-looking teeth. And I asked my friend Sam, shout out to Sam, would you like to play this character at the LARP that we both attend? And she was giddy with delight of being able to play a brand new character, this freaky little guy.
Do you call him a little freak? Look in a mirror.
So now we have Chatterbox, who is canonically a nightmare creature at our LARP, and he occasionally comes out to terrify the town.
Kids, it's Chatterbox.
So if you hear Chatterbox referenced in this episode, that's the story behind it.
I heard you were talking about me. Hey, what are you doing? Stop.
So this episode is a combination episode, one part lore lesson, meaning I had the opportunity to interview people in the immersive experience field. One part passive XP, meaning that it's an interactive immersive experience with a low barrier to entry and low effort involved. I was very lucky to attend a spooky Halloween-themed convention called Midsummer Scream. This is a once-a-year summer event hosted for a weekend at the Long Beach Convention Center. The perfect way to get into the summerween mood. I attended with my good sock puppet son, Chatterbox, to check out my first Midsummer Scream and interview various individuals from various types of immersive experiences. So a little bit about what to expect when attending. There are hundreds of spooky vendors. Unlike a lot of comic and anime conventions that I've attended over the years, you're not going to see a bunch of Funko Pops and various merchandise that you're going to see repeatedly. This is all going to be very, very unique stuff. A bunch of artists that I've never even seen work from before. Lots of cool attire that you're not going to find most places. And I might have spent a little bit too much money on some decor for my haunted bedroom. In addition to a bunch of vendors, there is a giant exhibit hall just for haunts that are all included in your ticket price. You want sneak peeks of bigger haunts that are yet to come in the Halloween time? This is the place to check them out. Here's a little interview from Force of Nature Productions from the Fallen Saint universe. I interviewed Sebastian Munoz, who is the producing artist director for this immersive experience, and they change it up every year, so it's going to be a brand new thing every time you go. Hi, thank you so much for doing an interview with me. Can you tell me a little bit about who you are and what you're doing here at Midsummer Scream?
Absolutely. Well, my name is Sebastian Munoz, and I'm the artistic director of Force of Nature Productions, and we are featuring our 7th annual Fallen Saints theatrical haunt experience.
Amazing. I know that you had like a lot of potatoes here earlier. Can you tell me what the potatoes were for?
Well, this year's Fallen Saints is set in 1860s Ireland. Now, and we're celebrating the Samhain. So what we do a root vegetable carving contest. So everybody was carving them.
Amazing. Yeah, someone gave a potato to Chatterbox and he just tried to eat it. So I don't think he's going to be the best at carving any sort of potatoes.
Sorry, he didn't win, but at least we have a little prize from him. So he's able to take one of our Banshee cards.
Yay! Thank you. Well, so you've been doing this since 2016. How has the progression been since then to now?
Well, Fallen Saints universe, really, there's no timeline. We visit all different historical time periods and try to visit certain historical legends. So first year was Whitechapel, dealing with Jack the Ripper. Then we did Dia de los Muertos, visiting the legend of La Llorona. And then we did Salem. And then this year we went to 1860s Ireland, featuring the backdrop of the legend of the Banshee. So every year it changes. It's very different. Last year we did SCP Foundation. So there was a capturing anomaly. So there's no time and space. But we have a recurring character, the Darkness, which time jumps is collecting souls from time and space, whatever, as she pleases.
So this seems like, SCP seems, spooky. Do you have a favorite cryptid, a personal favorite?
Oh, the SCP? Oh, I was a big fan of The Mask. So that was one of my favorites. And there was also the cannibal. The name is escaping me, but Ferdinand. Oh. Ferdinand's another personal favorite.
Well, those are both very good choices. I'll probably have to look a little bit more into them myself. So tell me about the cast and crew that ends up working at these events.
Well, the cast and crew of Force of Nature Productions, we are a family. This is a passion thing. This is not something that we do for the money, obviously. We do it for the love and passion of it. Because we just love the hunts and being together and creating original works. So if you encountered any of the people around here, you probably run into my son or my daughter or one of our company members' son or daughter, because we're truly a family and we celebrate together. So we just love being able to bring these universes and entertain people on a year-to-year basis.
For people who are wanting to get into creating immersive experiences, do you have any recommendations or tips for them?
Plan, rehearse, and rehearse. And it's funny you talk about immersive, because there are various levels of immersiveness. And this is probably the most immersive version of Fallen Saints we've done, where you can actually walk in, go into different places. So we're constantly changing. But I think you should really define what immersive is to you and the comfort level you're willing to go, while being okay to explore and discover new things. But start with something you feel comfortable in, and then build upon that so you can truly deliver the best experience for your audiences.
So do you end up using the same venue every time, or is it different venues for these experiences?
It does vary. It does vary from year to year. The last 2 years we have been on the same place. It helped for our intents and purposes. So, but sometimes it's just site-specific or what's available specific.
100%. And so when working on making that space your own, what is the foundation progress that you go through?
It just really depends on the universe that we're bringing to life. And then we start with set designs. We have set designers. We have set builders. And we very work with the writers as well to make sure that we're getting the right feels. And then we start shopping, thrift shopping, borrowing, and just making it happen. And we really want to just convert the world so people can really immerse themselves and not just walking into a theater or an empty warehouse. Really make it look and feel, and sometimes even smell of what we want it to be.
Yeah, that first impression coming in is really how you get the audience in there. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. Would you please plug your event one more time for us?
Sure. Well, thank you. Well, Fallen Saints will be running in September, 3 weekends in September, Fridays and Saturday nights. We have The Body of Kiara Malloy, Fallen Saints Tale. That's going to run at 8 o'clock and 9:15. Then we close it down and we reopen as a Shady Youth Pub experience where people can come in and interact with spirits, supernatural beings, do bobbing for apples, do some more of the carving, do a seance, do a torchlight procession, and celebrate the Samhain in 1860s Ireland. So come join us.
That sounds amazing, and I will definitely look forward to checking that out. Thank you.
Thank you.
The show and experience takes place September 6th, 7th, 13th, 14th, 20th, and 21st. One fun fact about a bunch of the haunts that are located in the exhibit hall is they're mostly just people who want to do it for the love of it. Well, you're going to find some big name brand ones like Lionsgate, who featured a small haunt. Most of these are just people who had the passion to make a haunt and threw it out on at Midsummer Scream. In addition to haunts and vendors, you're going to find discounts for various escape rooms, haunts that are going to be coming up that you wouldn't be able to get at any other time. I interviewed Madison, who is the co-owner and CEO of Crossroads, and the escape room is located in Anaheim, and the axe throwing bar is located in Costa Mesa. Crossroads has a majority of horror-themed escape rooms that have won multiple awards. They have also opened a brand new one that has a live actor that Madison talks a little bit about. The slasher axe throwing and bar is a horror-themed, axe throwing and bar. Hi, thank you so much for consenting to interview.
Yeah. Would you tell me a little bit about Crossroads and the new axe throwing that's horror-themed for me?
Of course. So Crossroads opened in 2016 in Anaheim, and we have 3 award-winning games. We have the Funhouse, which is not scary, so wacky, silly game. And we have the Hex Room, which we're most well known for, where you're split up into 6 different rooms and you're cast as cliche horror movie characters in a film. And you have to escape your individual room and reunite with the rest of your team. Then we also have the Weeping Witch, which is our newest one. It also just won an award for Best International Escape Room. So we're very proud of that one. That one is pretty scary. We rated a 4 out of 5 on the scare rating because it does have a live actor that comes in and spooks you. And then we also have our newest venture. It's Saster's Axe Throwing and Ales, which is open in Costa Mesa. And it's a horror-themed axe throwing experience with a beer bar. So the bar is all Evil Dead themed, and us camp counselors are there to help you with your axe throwing training so you can help, defend yourself against this undead problem that we have here.
Amazing. I know that a lot of my friends have done your, of course, most famous one where they've all been separated into specific rooms. There is one room that people usually get tripped up on. Is there a reason why people can't seem to figure out how to escape?
I mean, there's 2 of the 6 rooms are definitely scarier than the other ones. So nothing's gonna jump out and scare you, but atmospherically it's scary. The things you have to do alone could be seen as pretty scary. So I would say that's probably where they're having a hard time.
Have there been any challenges with having a live actor in your newest room?
I guess the biggest challenge is a lot of people ask if they could play without a live actor. And it's like, no, that's part of the fun.
So when you're doing these signups for people to go, that you always have to just an actor on duty, or you are well, we'll see how it goes.
Well, we're open all year long. So every time that there's an opening for that game online, we have a person staffed and ready to go.
Amazing. So tell me a little bit about the overall atmosphere of your axe throwing please.
Yeah, so it's kind of set in 1980s summer camp. So you're here for camp, and us camp counselors are your coaches, and we're going to give you some training. But we read from a weird book in the forest that we found, and now the whole camp is plagued with these cryptids and zombies and everything. So we have to teach you how to throw some axes to make sure you make it out alive.
Do you have any recommendations on any of the drink options that you personally enjoy or has been the most favorite one?
We just got a pumpkin spice cider in because we do have a seasonal menu. So I'm really excited about that one. And then our probably best-selling one is a seltzer cocktail, which we call What We Drink in the Shadows. And it is a huckleberry seltzer with a bloody rim and vampire teeth.
That is definitely my type of drink, for sure. Would you have any recommendations for people who are wanting to do other themed places?
It's hard. I've been working so much. I haven't had a chance to go and do fun stuff myself. But if you're in town and you're in Orange County, there's a really cool fantasy-themed non-alcoholic bar called Elixir that we love. And there's also Strongwater, which is a really fun tiki bar. And there's also Stowaway, another great tiki bar in Tustin. So I would say, make it a themed day. Go to all these cool places.
Amazing. Do you have any recommendations for if you are wanting to do, set up your own themed space, how you go about making it a themed space?
Well, I am trained in set design, so I always just start with a floor plan. What's the best flow for things? So what is it going to look like? What's it going to feel like? Where is everyone going to be stationed so it's not clogged all in one area? So I would just say my first step is always flow, making sure it can all fit. And then you can get to the fun stuff by choosing paint colors and things like that.
So is your entire background on set design, or did you start, like, were you a theater kid or anything along those lines?
Yeah, I was a theater kid. Yeah. So set design and fine art is what my major was.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. Can you do a little bit more of a plug for us?
For Slashers Axe Throwing, the horror-themed axe throwing beer bar in Costa Mesa, and Crossroads has 3 award-winning escape rooms.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There are also live performances located all around the vendor hall and in some of the panel rooms located upstairs. There are also going to be panels and demonstrations, such as a TTRPG horror-themed live play. A couple things that I did, besides purchase way too many things, of course, was I went to the Speakeasy, which was located in the Haunts, and, well, the Speakeasy itself was fine. Didn't have any fun cocktails, sadly, which is usually where I end up going to immediately. They had little portholes that you could spy into the next haunt over. You could also see the scare actors waiting for people to walk around the corner. And they had little buttons for the people in the Speakeasy to blow air and possibly do some shocking sounds as passerbys walked by. I had a fun time scaring people with Chatterbox as they walked by, too. That was fun for me. And the scare actors absolutely hated Chatterbox and threatened to kill him, which is to be expected. He's a freaky little guy. If you're interested in scary haunts, this interview is for you. Stan Burwell, who is the lead makeup artist, was able to give me a little bit of the behind the scenes for Reign of Terror, which will be located in Thousand Oaks starting September 7th and goes through November 2nd.
Hi, thank you so much for taking an interview with me. Please introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about what you do and the company you work for.
All right, my name is Stan Burwell. I work for Reign of Terror, and I'm their lead makeup artist. I lead a team of me and 2 other makeup artists that work under me, and we do make up the actors in the haunt.
So tell me a little bit about the process of when you're doing makeup design. Like, if you're doing a bunch of them, do you have to kind of limit what you're able to do, or you're just like, I'm going to go all out?
A little bit of both, depending on which actors we're working on. Like, we got some key actors that we kind of have to put a little bit more detail on than the others. And for some of the regular ones, we have to do everything within about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes tops. For those that we're actually working on to be more in detail, maybe it's about 5 or 7 minutes. And we use stencils, we use airbrush, which makes it a lot faster than using just regular brush. So,
has there been any sort of mishaps that have happened when it comes to doing makeup? Like, you didn't realize that a certain prosthetic wasn't going to work for a certain thing, something along those lines?
Oh yeah, all the time. Not all the time, but there's some times where I'm getting somebody ready, thinking that they're in a certain position, and they're not. And I'm like, all right, well, we're just gonna fix this up. We'll either tear it off halfway or add more blood to it, or screw it, just pretend like it was part of it. Yes.
Do you have any advice for people who are wanting to get into gore makeup specifically?
Learn a lot. Learn anatomy. It's a lot more than just spackling blood onto somebody or putting a prosthetic somewhere thinking it looks cool. It's like, if you know about human anatomy, you'll be able to do it, and it's more realistic.
Do you have a specific style that you favor over others when you're doing makeup?
I do more realism. But I love doing airbrushing, and if I go even further beyond working at the haunt, I like doing body painting and face painting, so yeah.
Well, I'd love if you plugged your event for us so that other people can check it out soon.
All right, who we work for is Reign of Terror. It's in Thousand Oaks, right off of the 101 freeway, and where park is the off-ramp, about 3 lights up, and we're in the Jan Shopping Center. We start September 27th. And we end on November 2nd, I believe, which is a light out event.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. I can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
I also got to do the Lovecraft experience, If you're not familiar with Lovecraft, it's a music group that really just wants everyone to get their Halloween groove on year-round. And so they have fantastic Halloween music, and the immersive experience that they had is in complete darkness. Everyone is seated. Best spot to sit would have been in the middle. Unfortunately, I was sitting up at the front as music and different sounds are walking around, a creature lurking behind the seats and coming closer and closer. I really hoped that they had featured a little bit more of their music in the immersive experience, but it was still cool to hear a little tidbits here and there. For this event, I am completely shocked that I have never been to it before. This is so much my vibe, and I know that a lot of my friends also attended, so I'm telling everybody that hasn't already gone, you gotta go. You gotta go with me. And while it was pretty crowded, I'm very, very used to that when it comes to comic and anime conventions. For a lot of usual attendees, they were pretty shocked about how crowded it was. So keep that in mind if you've been in previous years and are coming back. This is a fairly crowded and popular event these days. As far as accessibility, the convention center has elevators located all around the building, and there is accessibility parking in their main lot. There is a lot of walking involved. Not only while waiting to get into the convention center, but visiting everything. And while, of course, the event is very crowded, the aisles are pretty wide and the haunts are pretty spread out as well. If you are prone to getting overstimulated, stay away from the haunts. There's a lot going on and I felt pretty overwhelmed at times. As for personal recommendations, the car line to get into the main convention parking is pretty long and is kind of expensive. I parked at the outdoor mall located next door for a little bit less money, and there was no car line. If you're okay with a little bit more of a walk, this may be your best bet. I also purchased a quick snack and coffee while walking through the mall rather than pay the convention prices for food. If you want to eat at the food trucks located outside, make sure to bring cash for a smoother time. Another recommendation, make sure to wear some sunscreen. While the convention is all indoors, the line to get in is outside. I got a little bit sunburnt waiting for the 20-minute line. While the event is for all ages, if you're prone to jump scares or scare easily, this may not be the event for you. While a majority of scare actors are located in the haunt zone, attendees may have their own costumes and scares. Last, if you have a spooky outfit or a scary costume to wear, absolutely go for it. I received a lot of compliments on both my outfit and, of course, Chatterbox. It's a great way to meet new people and make the event way more enjoyable. I'm definitely looking forward to attending again next year, and I hope that you all make it out to Midsummer Scream. So, see you all next year, August 15th through 17th, 2025. Until next time, Halloween is a great time for us to wear costumes, while others can finally take theirs off. Check out our website, immersivexps.com, to join our free Ko-fi, which will have visuals and additional content of the immersive experiences discussed in each episode. If you are an immersive experience artist or creator, no matter how small, consider contacting us so you can take part on a future podcast. This podcast is recorded and produced by SoCal Podcast Studio in Orange County. Thanks for listening.